Outside the United Nations General Assembly, leaders from several Latin American countries met to discuss the continuing political crisis in Bolivia. Chile's President Michelle Bachelet announced a delegation will travel to Bolivia next week to investigate deadly violence in the northern province of Pando. And on Thursday, President Evo Morales and his supporters will meet with the opposition for talks over the growing rebellion. Earlier, I spoke with the Bolivian president and asked him how concerned he is about the ongoing crisis.
Well,
I can tell you that this reaction in Bolivia of these extreme groups is just to cover up the reaction, the popular reaction, and they can only be defeated because their actions are subversive and seditious and terrorist even.
But then how concerned are you that this situation could slide into a civil war?
Yo dudo que puede haber una guerra civil.
I doubt very much that there will be a civil war because Bolivians want democracy. It could have maybe happened in the 70s, the 60s, 70s or 80s under the military dictatorships. But now there is going to be a revolution through democracy and the right is going to be defeated. It is important for Bolivians to be able to decide through the vote who to elect in terms of politicians and also policies.
Well, you've said that there are also external forces at play. You've accused the United States of fomenting the violence, of supporting the opposition in an effort to undermine your government. You've even expelled the U.S. ambassador, Ambassador Goldberg. Do you have any evidence of U.S. interference in Bolivia?
Como hay rebelión de los pueblos contra el imperio.
Well, rebellions happen, and there is always resistance, and the empire continues to try to be controlling the situation and in power. But there are all these revolutions, and then there are also counter-revolutions. And no matter how much they try to stop the counter-revolution, we cannot go back.
But is there, Mr. President, any tangible evidence that the U.S. is backing violent protests against your government?
Completando la anterior pregunta.
Well, in the olden days, there were only a few countries. We started with Cuba, and there was a blockade against Cuba, and then there was Venezuela. And the number of countries that are against the empire are growing and growing. And there is proof that the money, the financing, for example, from USA and so on, goes directly to the NGOs, which are really right-wing organizations.
But how important is it for you to improve relations between La Paz and Washington with the next administration? Trade is at some 9–10% between the two countries, clearly not that high. Is it a way for you to safeguard your independence from Washington? Would you like to see an increase in trade relations and indeed in political relations between the two?
Los temas de exportación,
well, in terms of the exports, we are really overcoming this problem because there is solidarity among different countries. I have countries that are willing to cooperate with us and that can absorb that kind of export. We also have to overcome the problem of drug trafficking, not the way the U.S. wants to control drug trafficking because it has a political agenda. They really want to be present in our countries with the pretext of fighting against drug trafficking, but it is really that they want to be present there to have a military presence. In terms of cocaine, if there were no demand, there would be no trafficking. So that is really a U.S. problem. But Bolivians and other people are well informed about this, and if we have to cut relations, diplomatic relations, in the end, well, be it.